CTV News Northern Ontario, a special presentation. Here's Ian Campbell.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. And let me be one of many who've likely already told you this weekend, happy Thanksgiving. Tonight we're in French River, La Rivière des Français. Some of the locals may call it for something special here at Lamondin Park. In fact, you can even see the river right here behind me. Tonight we are focused on the good news once again. Yep, you heard me right. No crime, no arrests, no shenanigans, just nothing but the good news as you go on with celebrating today. Stories like one swinging Sudbury senior who decided to celebrate her 85th birthday by doing something special. You have to see it to believe it. Check it out.
How you doing, sweetie?
Meet Carol Sheminsky. She turned 85 this week, and to mark the occasion, she jumped out of a plane.
It feels very slowly that you're coming down and you're looking around and you're talking to your to the instructor that's there with you.
Going skydiving was on Carol's bucket list. Not being afraid of heights, she took the plunge as a birthday gift to herself.
If there's anybody that has dreamt of when you're in your dream that you're falling, well, that's exactly what it feels like. You get that jolt, but you don't wake up, you're going down, and you're going down really fast.
Long since retired from her job as a bread delivery driver, Carol spends a lot of time volunteering at her church. She says she doesn't have any health issues that would have prevented her from going ahead with the extreme experience. But landing was a challenge.
I have both knee replacement and shoulder replacement, and it was a little bit harder. So I'm glad I did it now, because if I would have waited longer, I know I wouldn't be able to do it, because you really have to bend your knees, and that's not working very good for me now. So I did it. I'm happy, and you do it once, you get that rush to go back, and if I was younger, yes, I would do it again.
The mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother drove from her home in Sudbury to Cookstown, north of Toronto, to jump in tandem with an instructor. She didn't tell anyone what she was doing until afterwards, saying she didn't want to worry them.
Their reaction was, yeah, she did it. I have one grandson said, well, you know what? Not me. I wasn't surprised. If I hear somebody say, look, your Baba's running with the bulls, just I'll believe it.
Carol was mum on what's next on her bucket list, but she did say if she was somewhere with zip lining, she would try that. And as for her advice to others looking to check off a bucket list item of their own,
just do it. Just do it.
Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
I love it. We filmed this in August. She must be a Leo. I'm a Leo. There's something always wild and crazy about those Leo types. Stay with us. There is more to come, including something special we filmed this year about the French River.
Clothing consideration provided by
Fashion Fair. Beautiful clothing for today's woman, where quality makes the difference.
This year we did something a little special and unique to us, a mini documentary, but for a special reason. It's part of the reason why we're here in French River tonight. Dean Wenborne has been serving his community for more than 50 years. He's a councillor in this municipality. He's been lovingly described as French River's answer to Hazel McCallion, and at 94 years young, he's still taking his seat at the table. While French River just marked its 25th anniversary, Dean has been there just about every step of the way.
At least we'll have a fairly smooth ride without the wind. There's no waves.
Born in South Africa, an American transplant as a young man, Dean Wenborne and his entire family made the transition to the Albin area in 1947. They drove up to the area from New York State and, in a sense, never left.
Couldn't even get in here by car. They had to come with horses and a sleigh from out on what now 64, but out on the Noalville Road. They saw the lodge, they looked at it, the owner was there, and they decided to buy it. And we moved here lock, stock, and barrel in June of 1947.
It may have started the Wenbornes down a path towards running a successful family business, but in reality, the path was difficult. This wasn't the bedroom community or tourist haven of French River we know today. It was, in a word, rustic.
The services were non-existent. We were only taxed by the province and the school board. That was the only way that we were taxed in those days. But it was primitive. The roads were, every road was gravel. What's now Highway 64 was a gravel road from Albin to Noelville that was barely open in the wintertime. It was dust in the summer and snow and ice in the winter. That was the kind of roads we had. Our road, none of our roads were open in the winter. Nobody was able to get them plowed or have them plowed, so that was the way it was, and we lived with it.
The Wenbornes made use of a team of horses to get around. It was really the only way. A far cry from the community many know now that intersects with a major provincial highway. It's safe to say a love of the outdoors here in the 1940s was helpful.
We had to cut our ice out in the bay here. We had to cut wood, and that was the only heating method, was wood heating for everything. Even our cook stove at the lodge was a big double oven, double firebox wood stove. Talk about primitive. It was difficult.
Hydro finally made its way to the French River Corridor in 1952, and it led to an opening up of the area.
And then the next big change in the area was when Highway 69 was built. And I remember the first time that I used the highway. We came up from Toronto, my brother and I, and it was Christmas Eve in 1952, and they had a Bailey Bridge across the French River. And that's how we got here on the highway. The highway didn't go past here yet. It took another 5 years before it got hooked up to the Burwash roads and then into Sudbury. So all those things made huge changes. Then people in this area started to commute to work in Sudbury and that kind of thing. The mines took a lot of people.
Wenborne got married and had a family and continued to make French River his home. Albin was unincorporated when he first got involved with the community. His first foray into public life and dealing with the province came with roads management.
When the time came that amalgamation occurred and created our municipality, the mayor of Noelville, who was given the responsibility to create a new municipality and take in all the unorganized townships here, phoned me and asked if I would help him. And I said, well, we don't want to be organized. We don't want to be part of a municipality. And the threat that was used by the Ministry of Municipal Affairs, if you don't become part of a municipality, you're going to pay the same amount of taxes and have no say in anything. That moved us along with that. So I helped Claude Maillet, who was the mayor of Noelville at the time, and we created this municipality.
It wasn't easy at the start because the non-organized, they wanted to stay out of it and they didn't want to be organized by a new municipality.
Claude Maillet passed away at the age of 86 in 2019. His son Paul has called the area home most of his life. He remembers there being some struggles, and it took some initial convincing.
Well, I don't know if it went out well together, but I think people wouldn't go back to what it was before, because now they realize the services they got, the garbage, the removal, or everything else, with even the decoration on the telephone post that they didn't even have before.
We had a lot of public attend because they were really interested in what this meant to them and had lots of questions, and Claude let me do all the talking. But he did mention what municipal affairs wanted. Claude participated to some extent, but we managed to get a vote yes, which kind of surprised me even. I didn't know, people were so concerned about this, but they voted in favor, and so amalgamation occurred.
While still an active member of the community, Wenborne didn't initially see himself as running for public office. In fact, he didn't run to be on the first council.
But after the municipality was created, and I saw who was elected to be on the council in this municipality, I wasn't too pleased with the way it was going, so it wasn't the first term. The second term I ran for council and I got elected on.
I knew he wanted to do it, and that was fine with me. He's done a lot of work in this community, a lot of years put in this community, and I think that he's just done a wonderful job and people should appreciate it.
Wenborne has had a seat at the table for more than 2 decades now. Even in this last municipal election, he ran for re-election in his early 90s. With names like Maillet, Bouffard, and Pajot, he's known every mayor of French River personally.
Oh, Dean was a very good person to work with because he had his ways or he had his ideas, but the thing about him is that if you prove that something else was better, he would, yes, that is better, and he'd change his mind. So it was very, and with all his knowledge and his experience, and it was an icon to work with him.
Well, Councillor Wenborne, I met him when I first ran as a councillor back in 2014. And I couldn't believe the institutional memory on that man. He knew everything that happened and why it happened. And he had been on all sorts of boards and why it was a good thing for the municipality. And he was running again to be a councillor, and he wanted to make some changes just as I did. And then we hit it off. We hit it off as soon as, we both got elected.
In creating the municipality, the one thing that made sense was the name. Well, there was a lot of communities and identities associated with the municipality, names like Albin, Bigwood, Noelville, Willette, Monetteville. Calling it French River just made sense. French River was already well known in the tourism industry.
I asked for it with Claude. I said, I think our municipality should be called the Municipality of French River, and he agreed completely. There was no argument. There was no difference of opinion. Everybody in our community knows that the French River is what makes our community, really. It's what made it in the first place. All the people that originally settled here came down here because of this river. That's how they got here. Most of those people came by water originally 2-3 generations ago. It's kind of amazing if you go back in the history of the people, and most were French, of course.
This is home. This is our home. This is where I spent all my summers as a child and as a teenager. Even had my first love out here, out in French River. And then the dream was always to, when we retired, was to move here permanently, because there's the beauty of it. You sit here and you just can spend hours just looking at the lake. You spend hours with the kids having fun in the water.
Enough?
At 92 years young, Wenborne continues to serve his town council. He ran once to see if he'd like it. 20 years later, he's still sitting at the table, now to the left of the mayor. With so many decades of public service behind him, he says it's the interest that keeps him going.
I'm very interested in our municipality, and I enjoy the people that I work with that are part of our municipal government. Everybody, the people on council, the people, the staff. And it has not been difficult to be on council here. So much, though, I'm going to say this, so much of council's work and achievement depends on the kind of staff you have. And we have had now, and especially the last 15 years, a great staff.
For me, Dean's always been like a role model to me, actually. I look up to him, but he's not the type to, it doesn't go to his head. He'll even ask me sometimes stuff that he knows is more my trade or more my profession. So he's very humble in what he does. So it's an honor to work with him.
Watch your step here. There's a little bit of hill now. This used to be the main road coming into the lodge right here.
And he was a tourist operator, so he knows how difficult over the years the tourist industry has been here, and how it's finally restarting again.
There we are with pulling canoes up the river to go portaging into the lakes.
And so we just, admire him for that. And if you have a question about something, you just go and ask Dean.
If Dean said, I think it would be a good thing, well, people would go with him. And that's why it's, we've had our ups and downs with being amalgamated, but all in all, it's been a very good thing that we did amalgamate all those areas.
After decades of public service, you've been lovingly described as the Hazel McCallion of French River. What do you think that means to you?
Well, I guess the only thing I'll say is I'm delighted that people voted for me. And I think that they must think that I do a reasonable job, or they said, get them the hell out of there. Sorry.
No, there will never be another Dean Wenborne, ever, that has brought so much to the community and has assisted us, has mentored so many of us into, municipal politics, and has done it in a way that is professional, kind. But Dean can be very firm when he makes up his mind, and once you realize how firm he is on a position, then it's up to you to figure out why. And most of the time, he's right, and so he's able to guide us through, a lot of decisions that we've had to make. But there won't be another one, unfortunately.
His efforts have transformed the community into what it has become, a thriving municipality that has become a model of amalgamation, a joining of older, established communities with similar backgrounds, interests becoming one. Much of it thanks to the efforts of Wenborne.
I'm hoping he's going to stay as long as he can, and I think he likes it. I think it keeps him going, and that's what keeps his mind active and strong. I can't say that I would like to be able to last as long as him, but I can't promise that I can.
I think he probably will want to run again, but maybe because of his health, he might decide to step down, because it would be another 4 years after, a 4-year term. But in talking to him, he said, "Oh, what if I don't? I'll do it for a couple of years, and then if something happens, well, I'll just step down." But I probably think that he won't do it anymore.
So will Dean Wenborne potentially retire one day?
Oh yeah, I think this is probably I'll be 95 when this is done, so it doesn't make sense that I'll try again, because that would take me to 100. I'm just lucky to be alive yet.
When it comes to lucky, many around the council table say it's the other way around. They're lucky to have him, an icon who not only fought for his neighbors over the decades, but helped create what we now know as French River. What a tremendous wealth of knowledge. Our thanks to Dean and his family for letting us document his story. When we return, we have a story that is literally going to leave a sweet taste in your mouth. All of this unseasonable weather we saw this year made for some great maple syrup conditions. We'll take you to Algoma after this. Welcome back. Well, it's been warm out till about this past week or so. It also wasn't that bad of a winter. Maple syrup producers certainly got an early start, and it made several people quite happy. This year all wasn't about the maple syrup, though. It was also about Shania. One Northern Ontario woman is a massive Shania fan, and quite frankly, what's better than having Shania sing you happy birthday? Maybe it's being a boomer. Check out these stories.
Let's go, girls.
Sault Ste. Marie's Shaylin Spurway-Bubinas has been a Shania Twain fan for as long as she can remember. She says the Timmins-born singer-songwriter was always her role model.
I sang one of her songs at my uncle's wedding when I was about 13. And I've just always been a fan and followed along with her career.
When it came time to celebrate her 40th birthday, she and a friend decided to check off an item on their bucket list, the Calgary Stampede.
We opted to stay in Canada and decided it was a perfect time to cross the Stampede off of our list. When we realized that Shania was the headlining act for this year, that's what made us pick that first weekend.
Spurway-Bubinas saw Twain perform 2 other times, once back in Sudbury in 1998. Being so close to the stage, she says she was overcome with emotion, and Twain took notice.
She just kind of pointed me out and said, you've been crying this whole time. I just need to check on you. So I was partly embarrassed, but partly in shock that Shania Twain was talking to me.
What's your name?
Shaylin.
It's
her birthday.
And then a special birthday song.
Happy birthday, dear Shaylin. Happy birthday to you.
Spurway Bumina says after more than 30 years of being a fan, it's a moment she won't ever forget.
The fact that she's, a woman from Northern Ontario, you can be from a small town and big dreams can happen.
Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
Being a boomer is great.
Stan French doesn't mind when people call him a boomer.
As a boomer, you've got that freedom to try and stay active.
It was while he was on his way to play old-timers hockey at the West Ferris Arena when he started thinking that being a boomer ain't bad. And thus the name of his song celebrating the boomer way of life was born.
You're going to enjoy life as a retired senior. You're going to have the challenges, losses of things like eyesight and hearing. But if you can laugh at those and say, that's part of life, that's good.
With the help of his boomer bandmates, French recorded the song and a music video.
Being a boomer ain't bad.
Where royalties will be donated to One Kids Place, the Alzheimer's Society, and the Victorian Order of Nurses Smile program. These are charities that refer clients to BASAR Search and Rescue and support families needing Project Lifesaver. French is the president of the Search and Rescue team.
This will be great for us and to help with getting to help more seniors with having more of that money and keeping them safe at home as long as possible.
One Kids Place currently has 30 children with autism in the program. Proceeds there will help offset costs of Project Lifesaver enrollment.
It's incredibly comforting to families that they have a number to call and it immediately mobilizes a team to go and find their child.
Currently, there are 56 clients in the Nipissing district that are fitted with a Project Lifesaver transmitter that will help police locate them should they wander off.
We're almost up at the point where we'll have one client for every 1,000 people in the community.
He's hoping the song becomes an instant classic. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
It's been a busy start to the maple syrup season in Northern Ontario. Most maple producers have been collecting sap this week and boiling it down to Canadian liquid gold. And the large dump of snow most recently coating the north could help the season last for longer this year.
Right now we have 23,600 taps in, which means that we have another 3,900 taps to go before we're fully tapped this season. We've got about 39 inches of snow that the team is trudging through to get those taps done, but we've already got about 12,000 gallons of sap collected just in this week alone, regardless of this crazy weather we're having.
Last year saw an extremely early beginning to the syrup season, with many maple producers starting in late January and early February. The near 0-degree weather this week meant the season could get started a few weeks ahead of the typical busy season.
The first little bit of warm we got was just we were able to go find leaks and stuff in the lines that, when you're tapping you don't find them, but when you turn the vacuum on and you get some warm, you can start to find your leaks and stuff. So that kind of helps us out with when we do get our bigger runs later on in the season.
Maple syrup is one treasure Canada has in excess that is found in smaller quantities south of the border. Local producers are crossing their fingers in hopes that American tariffs don't have a large impact on their businesses.
It's uncertain times with the way things are right now. You kind of have to take it as it comes. We actually shipped a load of maple syrup out this morning to the United States, hopefully to get ahead of any potential tariffs. But, maple syrup's one of the commodities that Canada has more of than the United States currently.
Maple producers hope the temperatures stay just under freezing, but expect the busy part of their season to run from mid-March to mid-April. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Love seeing that maple syrup, especially from our region. Thank you so much for watching and spending your holiday with us. On behalf of all of us at CTV Northern Ontario, we want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. We're thankful to you, our viewers, who invite us into your homes each and every night. And a big thank you to French River for hosting us tonight at the Lamondin Park. Now, I don't know about you all, I have some leftovers to go raid. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.